Time to bring in our next guest on the show, and that is going to be Tyler Smith. He is the head coach of the Southeast Saline Trojan softball team. Coach, appreciate you coming on the show for you. Year one to year two now, guiding the softball team at Southeast. What's that experience been like for you just now in your second season?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, year one was a blast. Just the energy, the buy-in from the team was great. Uh, Obviously, wins and losses, like having success helps out. We finished the year 22-5. Gave ourselves a chance in the late innings against Silver Lake in a regional final game. It's easy to look at wins and losses and kind of consider if your season was a success or not, but that had nothing to do with the success. It was just the energy. I've coached high school baseball for about 20 years. So coming into the softball game, everything was brand new. The community was great. When I say community, not only the Southeast community, but also the coaching community just around the state of Kansas just welcomed me with open arms. I feel like I know what I'm doing a little bit more this year. Last year, I'll never forget. We're in our first game, and I'm going through signs and signals in my head. Like, that's not going to work the softball level. Like, I was learning on the fly. I still don't know a lot, but I know a lot more than I did last year.
Okay, we'll talk about that learning curve. So, I mean, like you said, you've been around baseball for a number of years there in the Salina area. But okay, so now you're going into softball, leading your own program. What did you do even before that season started, just to kind of get yourself ready?
I YouTube, watch things like this. I talked to other coaches. Pesha Potachik, the head coach here at Southeast, prior to me, was a great resource. She only stepped away because she had a daughter graduate and a son who's now a junior here playing baseball, and she wanted to watch her kids, and so she was a great resource. Just helped me out with a lot of things. I kind of feel like I just watched a lot of college softball. ESPN Plus was fantastic. I've always been a softball fan. I've always loved the speed of the game. As a baseball guy, when I played, I was either hitting 2, 7, or 9. So I was one of those guys that could kind of move the ball around. As a baseball coach, we always utilized a lot of small ball. So there wasn't a lot, offensively to transition, but it's just the little details of the game. It's speed, it's fast. You gotta make sure you structure your lineup in a way that if you're going to get out and run, you got to make sure no one's ahead of you, and you got to make sure someone else can run ahead of you. It's just go, go, go. We preach pace and tempo here. I like to think of it like Nolan Richardson's 40 minutes of hell. I don't care what sport it is. We're going to go, and we're going to, I watch Coach Gebhardt and his great football teams here at Southeast. Like, he controls pace, whether he's going fast or whether he wants to slow it down. And we want to do the exact same thing on the diamond. Like, we are in control of the pace.
You talk about learning on the fly, though. Like, once you did get started, and you talk about the success that you guys had, or just even the wins. Like, how much of that, like, in-game learning did you have? Like, oh yeah, well, this works out, or okay, that didn't work out. Like, how much did that exist?
Well, a lot of it existed just because of the players that we are blessed to have at Southeast. I like to coach situations. I like to coach like what I want the girls to do. That's at practice. Game days are theirs. Um, I have a couple players that they kind of go off script a little bit, and I think that's what makes us pretty successful. Like, I want players to go off script. This isn't an X's and O's cookie cutter game. If you do cookie cutter stuff, you're gonna get cookie cutter results. We don't want that. We want the big picture. And there's a couple times, I'll call a bunt with a runner on first, and before I know it, the girl that was on first is rounding third, getting ready to score. And like, I just looked up and I'm like, holy smokes, saw the ball off the bat well, had a good jump, and just continues to go. That's what we like. Like, this is a game. If you play it safe, you give yourself a chance. But I'm risk reward. Like, I'm high risk. Like, I want to go. I want to put the pressure on somebody else. I want to make you throw somebody else out. It's kind of the way we play. The girls have, done well with that. It might all be shambles this year. Who knows? But I really think, you play with pace and tempo and you put pressure on other people, it makes this game a little bit more difficult to play.
What's it been like just, even running your own program? I mean, because, like you said, the serving as an assistant coach, whether it's with Salina South or there in the Salina area, but now, guiding your own program, what's that feeling been like?
Oh, it's great, and it's been great assistant coaches. Kenny Waldman and Stephanie Metlin are on my staff this year. Both of them have far more varsity head coaching experience than I do. They've both taken teams to the state tournament respectively as head coaches. But when I was at Salina South, I was able to work under Chris Mize, who I just have the utmost respect for, and to see how he ran a practice day to day. We have a checklist at the beginning of the season. We're checking off everything to make sure, we hit the criteria, and then we're hitting it on the backside to make sure, it's staying fresh in our heads. But it's fun. Like I want the girls to be excited to come to practice every day. We try to get our speakers as loud as we can. We have the music blaring. Um, it's an environment that I think players want to be in. It's an environment that we're going to work and we're going to go, but it's just nice to create that kind of practice environment that I think maybe I would have thrived in as a player.
Talking with Tyler Smith, head coach of the Southeast Saline softball team. You mentioned Coach Mize at Salina South, being able to coach with him. Like, what did you learn from him, and what stood out about his style?
I don't know if you know Coach Mize at all, and he's probably 5'8", but he thinks he's 6'10". Anytime he steps on the diamond, um, his team has his back. He's got their back. He coaches with fire and intensity, something I've never seen before. But he cares so much about his guys, and I think that's what I've taken away the most is, we talk about this all the time with youth sports and high school sports as well. We ask so much of our players. You know, we ask of spring break time. We ask, over Easter, we need you in the morning and Friday, in the afternoon on Monday. Like you have to give up so much as a high school athlete. I understand that, and I want to make sure that they see that I'm giving it up, and we're gonna make things fun, and we're gonna make things energetic. You're not gonna come to a practice and stand around. We're gonna get things moving, and that's what Coach Mize always did. There's always station work. There's going on. There's constructive criticism, but he also lets you play with your own little swagger, and your own abilities are able to shine through that way.
Being around that Salina community for a long time now, like what's it been like just watching the talent, whether it was with South or Central, Southeast or Sacred Heart, like you can go on, but like, I mean, what's it just been like watching the talent, whether it's baseball or softball in that area?
Cole, I mean, it's the old cliche, iron sharpens iron. I mean, these programs, so many of these kids play together growing up. Just a great baseball and softball community, great athletic community. I mean, let's just throw every sport in there. And it's a lot of the parents, at an early age are doing things the right way. And I think that's what has continued. You're seeing this rise. You're going to see great years from Salina Central and Salina South this year in softball. Sacred Heart as well. As I tell you what, that was a pretty good team last year. That they just, they're coached well. They play hard, but they're coached
Yeah.
well and play hard from an early age, and you're starting to see this, success foster. And like I said, everyone plays with each other during the summer on various teams. You talk about Legion teams, on the baseball side, but it's fantastic. I mean, just great to see people coached well that play the game well and play hard.
Well, I guess your early outlook for your squad this year, what excites you and what are you looking forward to?
The early outlook is we just want to play our best softball in May. I mean, it's again such a cliche thing to say. There's no reason to be. If we want to be good, March 24th tomorrow when we open up against Heston, that's going to be great. But I want to peak in late May. We come back, we bring back junior pitcher Carly Zerflu, whose numbers were just crazy last year. She was 13-4, a 1.5 ERA, 118 strikeouts in her first year playing prep ball. She had ran track as a freshman, and her only 4 losses this season. 3 of them were. She only had 1 loss to a 3A opponent. That was in relief. Sorry, 2 losses to a 3A opponent, but we kicked the ball around. I mean, she gives us an opportunity when she's in the circle, that we can play. I have some sensational sophomores: Reese Heinrich, Kaya Samuelson, Heinrich. Her slash line was crazy last year, highlighted with 61 stolen bases. Samuelson can do just as much. She hits in that 2 hole, so a lot of times she's spraying the ball around or kind of moving Reese, from station to station. So she gives herself up a lot. I mean, she still hit 456 last year, but she's a great situational hitter. She understands if she has to hit a ground ball to the second baseman to advance Reese, that's what she's going to do. Riley Donnelly, she's the lone senior on this year's team. She's a utility player, does a lot for us. Then Ashley Welchel, third baseman, another returning starter, just has got great hands, whether she's at third or up at the plate, sprays the ball around. So we have some returning starters that are hungry to get after it, and then we have some youngins that sat and learned and watched from a great senior class. We graduated 7 last year, and we got girls that are eager and ready to play. They're ready to kind of put their mark on Southeast Saline softball.
Hey, Coach, appreciate your time and best of luck this year.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Cole. Anytime.
That is Tyler Smith, head coach of the Southeast Saline softball team. We'll have more of the show right after this.